Quite the little foreman there, buddy. It's amazing. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we're continuing on with our frame-up renovation of this 1956 Calcraft. It's still a frame, and it's still raining, which means it's going to be a little difficult for me to do much work on prepping the frame to build on top of it. The other day I went and got some paint and some flap wheels and stuff to clean this up and start painting it, but until it stops raining there's not much I can do on that. So one thing I had said when we were rebuilding our 1968 Playmore Model 140 was that I was never going to do another camper without having a covered space to work on it. That's number one. I'm not doing another one of these sitting out in the open like this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Harbor Freight and I'm going to buy one of those cheap 10x20 car canopies and put over the patio here. Simon helped me take some measurements and I think it will cover all of the pavers and go back over that berm back there. I'd rather have a permanent structure, but at least that'll give me a space to get some work done.
You have to be a biggest fan, and when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says you just have to follow that because you don't know.
You're gonna ride onto it?
Because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Well, that's pretty much it. There were some little feet that went under the legs and they seem to have disappeared, so I'll have to look for those. Okay, so I didn't say much about what this was, but this is the Cover Pro 10x20 portable car canopy from Harbor Freight. It's not real fancy. I'm a little skeptical how it's going to hold up in Kansas wind and weather, but at least temporarily it should give me a dry spot to work on this camper. So we'll let it dry out overnight. If it doesn't rain a ton, maybe I'll be able to get out here and do a little work tomorrow. I've got to work part of the day, so we'll see if we can't pencil in some camper time later on.
Oh, I can't reach it. Can you reach it? Happy? Ooh.
It's raining! It's raining! It's raining! Big wet tree!
No, Pappy, don't grab on the handle.
What? Don't grab your handle. Do you have a handle? Let's see, is that your handle? Is that your handle right there? I've got handles right here too.
Uh-oh, broken.
Who broke it?
I broke it.
You did? Okay, well, it's the next day, and it's still really humid, so the ground's still drying out, but no rain on the camper anyway. So I guess I'm gonna get my grinder out and I'm gonna knock some of this rust off there and get this ready to paint. So what I think I'm going to do with these bolts, pull them up, clamp them so they don't run away from me, and I'll just come in with my cutoff wheel. I'm going to eventually have to take the tires off to finish this, but I'm going to leave them on for right now in case I need to move this around a little bit. So I'm going to take this flap wheel and use it to grind some of the rust off the frame, see how that works. I think it'll be okay. I went with an 80 grit because I didn't want to go too aggressive and really start removing metal with it. So give that a shot. I'm thinking for inside here it might work better with the wire wheel. So we'll just try a couple things out and see what works best. Quite the little form in there, buddy.
Get bung. Around the camper, around flowers.
Yeah, I'll watch out for the flowers.
What's out the flowers?
Okay, so it probably bears repeating. The wire wheel does a great job getting in hard to reach places to get dirt and other stuff. But you definitely want to wear safety glasses, and you don't want to have anybody around while you're doing this because these little metal pieces shoot off of there. I don't know if you can see that, but right there we go, maybe. There it is. These little pieces of metal will stick into your clothing. Some of them in very, I don't know, areas where you don't want little pieces of metal sticking. So, yeah, all I can say is don't have anyone around when you're doing that, and probably go through and pull them out of your clothes before you put them in the wash. The more you know. Okay, so the next step here is going to be to scrub the frame down to get all the dust and any dirt that's still clinging to it. So I got my scrub brush, just need to get my bucket and get to it. Now, you know, you think, oh, obviously that's going to get it wet. Isn't that going to cause it to rust again? Not really. But, you know, you can't get paint to adhere to a dirty chassis, so you got to clean that off anyway. I didn't do any grinding on the wheel drums because they're not really too bad, and I'm not 100% positive if I'm going to be replacing those yet or not. I haven't opened them up to really make sure I can work with what's there. I think I can. They seem to spin pretty well, so I don't think there's really anything to worry about them. If it's cheapest to rebuild them, I'll do that. If it's cheaper to replace the whole things, I'll probably do that. So, but for right now, let's get it clean. Look at this. Ooh, isn't that tasty? Chocolate milk. Okay, I'm gonna get the hose and I'm gonna spray this off. Of course, you gotta use the hairdryer on it too. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Okay, so that's pretty clean now, reasonably dry, but I'm gonna let it dry a little further. The paint that we're putting on there is oil-based, and oil doesn't mix with water, so it's really gotta be dry before that goes on. We're under this nice little carport now. Even if I don't get to it today, it should stay nice and dry under there. And we will get to it very, very soon and get this thing protected and taken care of. Okay, so here we are, next day. I did not get to this as quickly as I wanted to, and it's been super, super humid, so there's a little bit of surface rust going on, so I'm gonna hit it with some steel wool, knock that off, give it a quick wipe with some rags and some cleaner that evaporates off really quickly. Then I'm gonna stay out here until I get some paint on this sucker tonight. All right, so the two types of paint I'm going to use on this are both Rust-Oleum. You can get them at Ace. They're really cheap, but they seem to do a really good job on this. And I've heard of people using tractor parts paint from like Tractor Supply, and I hear good things about that too. But where this is a frame, it's not going to be seen. You know, you don't need to use fancy, you know, two-stage epoxy on all this stuff. So what I'm using is the Rusty Metal Primer and just the gloss protective enamel. And I've used these on all the frames that I've rebuilt, and they've all held up really well. And you know, it doesn't take much paint to paint one of these, so it's not really worth getting the compressor and the spray gun and all that stuff out and doing it that way. At least I don't think it is. So I've got a few things I need to mask off, so I'm going to mask those off real quick, and then I'm going to get to painting. So there you have it. One light coat of primer takes about 30 minutes. By the time you get to the end, the front should be dry. You can go ahead and go back with your second coat. I'm only doing 2 coats on that because this covers pretty thickly. So I'm going to spare you from watching me do the second coat. I'm going to do that real quick, and I'm going to try to get on to the first coat, top coat. I'll tell you what, it's been a long day. Okay, I really thought I was going to finish that up, but truth be told, it's just getting too dark for me to see what I'm doing. Like, I'm spraying black on black, and yeah, I just can't see what's going on because I'm old. But I think it looks really nice, and I think this is going to be a really nice frame as soon as I finish this second coat on there, and I'm excited to get moving on to some actual framing, which shouldn't be too far off. If I get a little bit of spare time tomorrow, I'm going to finish up that paint job and we'll take a look at it. If I don't get a little bit of spare time, thanks for watching. New videos come out every Sunday, so make sure and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. And here's where there'll be like some video of it actually finished.